There are places on Earth where sound dies, where the wind doesn't just blow, it watches. In February of 1959, 9 people entered one of those places. 9 hikers, all experienced, all prepared. They would leave behind a torn tent, bare footprints in the snow, and a silence so complete it still hasn't been broken. This is not a story about how they died. It is about what came to them in the dark. The Forbidden Mountain, a name that warns. The mountain was never meant to be climbed. The Mansi called it Kholat Syakhl, the mountain of the dead. Not because people died there, but because things did. The Mansi believed the slope was watched by the Menk, a presence older than memory. They did not hunt there. They did not camp there. A silent warning, they did not speak loudly there. And when asked why, they gave the same answer every time. It hears the patient predator, the Menk. The Menk was not a beast. It was described as upright, massive, and patient. It did not chase. It waited. Mansi elders said it would stand still for hours, blending into trees and shadow, until prey moved first. When it touched you, bones did not break outward. They collapsed inward. This detail would later appear in an autopsy report. Unexplained aerial phenomena and military tests. On the night of February 2nd, witnesses miles away saw the sky change. Orange spheres. Silent. Floating. Not stars. Not aircraft. Military logs would later confirm tests. High-altitude detonations designed to explode without sound. Pressure without flame. Force without warning. Animals panic at frequencies humans barely notice. And something else was already awake on that mountain, setting the scene for further events. The tent incident. The hikers were asleep. No signs of packing. No shoes pulled on. No coats grabbed. Then something happened outside. Not an avalanche. Something close enough to hear breathing. The tent was not opened. It was cut. Fabric sliced in multiple directions. Fast, clumsy, terrified. One diary entry ended mid-sentence. The ink pressed hard, as if the hand was shaking. The unexplained departure and forest anomalies. They left barefoot. In -30 degrees, they did not scatter. They moved together down the slope, as if they were being herded. Searchers later said the forest felt wrong, too quiet, as if sound was being absorbed. Branches high in the cedar tree were snapped. Something large had climbed it. Something heavy. The first 2 were stripped of clothing, not by attacker, but by survivors. A primitive act. Desperate. Animal. The next 3 were frozen mid-motion, faces twisted toward the tent. Mysterious fatalities in their aftermath. They had tried to go back. The last 4 were found in a ravine. Their injuries were impossible. Ribs crushed without broken skin. Skulls fractured like dropped porcelain. A tongue removed with no blood. Doctors stopped writing details. One examiner quit days later. The contamination incident radiation was found on clothing. Selective, as if exposure was brief or localized. The military explanation fits, but it does not explain why fear came before the blast, or why something followed them into the trees. The unreleased photograph. One photograph was never officially published. Taken at night, flash illuminating snow, and behind it, a vertical shape. Too tall. Too narrow. Not close enough to identify. Not far enough to ignore. The negative was marked damaged and sealed. Official closure and unanswered questions. The Soviet report did not deny a cause. It refused to name one. The unspoken truth, a compelling force beyond human control. That phrase was chosen carefully, because naming a weapon would expose the state, and naming something else would admit the mountain was never empty. Lingering shadows of the pass, Dyatlov Pass is quiet now. No memorial stands on the slope. No signs warn you away. But the Mansi still avoid it. And soldiers still test weapons far from cities. Because some collisions are not meant to be witnessed. The encounter in the snow. 9 people ran into the snow that night. Not from the cold. Not from an avalanche. But from something that stood outside their tent and waited.